When you receive the autoclave, you will got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. These 7 pieces, all the stainless steel was installed outside, and the Teflon is the inside one. Your solution will install in here. So before you insert your material into the reactor, you need to be clear about the structure of the autoclave. The structure of the autoclave include the bottom pieces, the reactor. So you can see this one include a curve here. This one is the bottom piece, and the top piece is both sides flat. So you can specify which one is bottom, which one is top. So when you install the reactor, you need to put this one into the jacket first. Then the curved one face to the bottom. So you can insert this one. If you find it's wrong, you can rotate it from the bottom. Then when it's installing this one, it's correct. From the inside, you can see it's totally flat, and when you see outside, it's also holding properly into the structure it has. So this is how to install the bottom piece. After that, the bottom of the reactor has been prepared. At this moment, you can install your solution. If you plan to use your reactor to be heated by a stirrer with a hot plate, you can put your stirrer bar first. Then you install your solution inside. You pay attention to the solution level. Make sure the level is correct. Follow the condition of your solution. You can refer to the manual. Of course, better is 30%. If your system is with very loading evaporation pressure, better you filling at less 50% of the total volume. Is for safety. So refer to the manual to see how high the solution filling for the reaction based on your property of your solution. So after you finish installation of the solution, you put this cap into this one, because this is a very good seal, so it will got some air inside. You can let the air to go out first. If it cannot fully install, it's no problem. You can hold it later with the holder. Then you insert the one into the reactor. Slide in. Then you put the top onto the reactor. Then rotating the outside. At this moment, you can check about this one. This one better is rotating to out, not to in, because if you rotate too much here, later you will lose the space to tie your reactor. So at this moment, you lift this one to top first and rotating the reactor until the almost bottom. Tie it strongly. During the installation, how to tie the reactor. If you have 2 person to collaborate with each other, you can take 1 person holding the reactor after you tie this big screw. Then you can use 2 hands holding to rotating like this, but you have 1 person holding the reactor for you. But unfortunately, if you have only 1 person like me, you can do it in this way. You use 1 hand to hold the reactor and put this one in the side, rotate it to tie as strong as possible. Then after tie, you can start to load it into your hot plate or your oven. This one is not so good because we rotate too much outside. So when you are inserting, you can make sure here is not too much in and not too much out. You can make this one to be flat first, to be flat. Then you install this one into the reactor first. So the top has a space, so this one will go something out. After you finish your reaction, you will have some highly tension. You cannot open it immediately because that will, as you use the high pressure cooker at home, it will got the liquid spill out. So for safety, you must wait for the reactor to be cooled down to room temperature. Then you only open. After finish the reaction, how to release? Can do the same thing. If you have 2%, then you can ask one to hold for you, and you turn on like this. If you don't have 2%, you can do in this way to release it, but it's still very strong. So you must take out when it's cooled down. Cool down will be easier because the heat will expand the reactor. That is much difficult to take out. Sometimes you may find the reactor is clapped with each other. Then normally it's because the reactor is still hot, so you can wait for it to be cooled down, then easy to open. And another one is you must pay attention is when you install, you must make sure the installation is balanced. Means the nuts structure and the screw structure must be inserted properly. That means when you are rotating, this one must fit here. When you are rotating by hand during the installation, it will be smooth to be rotating in. If it's not smooth, that means and the screw and the nuts is not fit. Then at that moment, better you adjust the angle to make it properly. Otherwise, later you will break down the structure to make the installation difficult. You make sure all the reactor is in vertical position. After that, you rotate this one fully outside. And this one, some will asking about how to take the Teflon reactor to the out. At this moment, this structure is coming to its function. You can rotate this one to flat and put this one on your table and put your reactor on the top of the cap. Then you can slide out your reactor very easy. At the moment, you can turn and collect your solution. This is how to use the reactor. And after you finish your reaction, if your reactor keep very clean, like when you use in oven, there's no solution outside and no other was spill on the reactor, you don't need to wash this one. You can wipe it and keep it in a dry and clean place, because this is a stainless steel, so it will not that easy to be corrosive. But at another side, if you're using very high corrosive materials, you better wipe it with acetone or ethanol, or flush it with water and dry it properly to keep it safety and clean and dry. And you can only wash this one. When you wash this one, if you would like to keep this in the oven, you pay attention to the temperature, because this is Teflon. You don't put it in too high temperature. Maybe you can just air dry under 60 degree or 50 degree, then keep it for next time use. Don't use in very high temperature. If you use high temperature, This one maximum we recommended you using is don't over 200. For safety temperature, you use 180 is better. If you would like to use more than 250, please change into PPL. Consider about safety. This is all about the autoclave reactor.